sequel wise, what do you want? If like Vin said, this becomes like a Nolan trilogy. Like, what do you want out of the next one?
I want to see more of, it's tough because this is a very grounded Batman. So I don't know how into the fantasy they're gonna go. Like, are we gonna see like a Victor Freeze character? I mean, I think that he has probably some of the most depth of any villain.
I'm Mr. White
I'm not
Christmas.
talking about
I'm Mr.
Schwarzenegger, but
Snow.
like actual Victor Freeze with his wife and
Yeah.
and like that story. I always found that dynamic to be interesting because Batman can see why
Yeah.
it happens. Like
Yeah.
almost the most justified of Batman's villains for what he does. Because think of the person that you cherish the most in this world, and you have the ability, just not the technology, to save the person that you love. You would do anything, in that moment.
So you want Mr. Freeze 100%?
So I would love to see Mr. Freeze. But if I would say like top 3 Batman villains that I'd love to see,
we're going there yet, or we're just jumping the gun?
Let's do that. Let's do top 3.
Top 3 Batman villains.
So I would say top 3. I would say Mr. Freeze is one of them. I'd like to see Clayface. I love Clayface. I always loved Clayface, and he was one of my favorite figures too. But that would create an interesting dynamic. Imagine there's somebody that can turn into anyone, and the kind of problems that can create. And that would be a good way for Batman to lose face with the Gotham City Police Department if Clayface is pretending to be Batman and doing like some shit as him. Then he kind of loses all that progress that he made with the city. But he realizes that he still has a job to do, and he's still a symbol. So that could be like an interesting thing. And Two-Face, but like a real gangster Two-Face, like animated series style Two-Face, where he was the DA, he was a little hot-headed. He was a good guy initially, but he always had that little fresh side. And then it really comes out with the explosion. I'd love to see like a well-executed Harvey Dent. I personally did not like the Two-Face from the Nolan trilogy, and I think they could do him a lot better.
All right,
and an honorable mention to the ventriloquist, because I don't think Scarface gets enough love.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely am on board with you with Mr. Freeze. Nice to see you again, Batman. Freeze in hell. Who would you cast though as Mr. Freeze this time? Is the big question. You'd have to kind of go older, younger, somebody who can portray that kind of accent with that type of like intelligence and yet strength.
Not Paul Giamatti.
Couldn't help himself.
No, not Paul Giamatti. Is the right
Arnold just played Zeus. Maybe he's old enough to play another Mr. Freeze. I'm hopeful.
You're not sending me to the cooler.
That is a good question.
I'm hopeful.
The dude that played Vision would probably be a good
Paul Bettany.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a good idea. Actually,
I think he would be.
Yeah. I could totally see that.
Right? I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually good. That's a really good choice.
Cunning,
top
very smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Irons. I definitely will say just a big warning: spoilers. At the end of the movie, they do kind of make a reference that we don't know yet, but it could possibly be Joker, who's caged up in Arkham Asylum across from the Riddler. He makes a reference to the clown kind of motif. They also start laughing hysterically together because now they're friends.
Of crime.
So yeah, you can't have a Batman without a Joker. So Joker's at my high top.
It's interesting if that is him, that he's already in Arkham Asylum. Does that mean has he already tangled with Batman, or is he in there because he's just bots and he gets out and becomes the Joker? Like,
it's the thing about the Joker, we don't really have there is no true origin. They never dedicated themselves to one. They always played
Joaquin
with the
Phoenix
idea of.
What do you think, Joe? Who do you think's going to be?
So yeah, Victor Freeze, the Joker, and I'm gonna throw in something there that just there hasn't been in a Batman movie to date, and I love it in the animated series. I loved it in the Arkham Asylum games. Is the Mad Hatter? I think he can pull off in the type of setting that they've already made for this type of movie, where it's very noir, it's very Sin City feel to it. I think the Mad Hatter would kind of play well into kind of this city that they've made. So
I agree.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Sweet. How about you? 3 villains, and what do you want next from the sequel.
I want to see villains that are kind of grounded in reality. I want to see them kind of stick to their guns of like nothing too crazy and
Killer
fantastical.
Croc.
Though Victor Freeze would be pretty fucking cool.
Oh,
you
yeah.
could just have a guy with liquid nitrogen spray people.
The
and,
creeper.
that's all you need. You just need a guy to walk around the city with a can of liquid nitrogen spray people, and he's a sick fuck, So that's really I can't say villain. I mean, we know we're gonna see the Joker. I hope it's good. I'm sure it will be. But Joker is always a role that everybody's gonna be very, very critical.
Mhm.
Everyone's gonna be looking at this Joker with a lens. Like they
I
always
wonder
have.
if this Joker will have a Harley Quinn. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. I
And
feel like
would
we're
it be
going to see more
Margot
Penguin.
Robbie?
No,
I don't think it would be.
Probably not.
this
no.
does not. He said Matt Reeves said this does not exist in that.
I knew, but
Yeah, he was like,
sometimes
"Nope."
they bring over actors from other roles.
I thought it was cool that Vin said he recognized the actor that played the Riddler, but I thought it was cool that they.
You mean the Joker?
No, the Riddler in
Oh.
in this latest movie. Who was that actor?
Is from the movie The Girl Next Door was like the big one for him.
Yeah, that guy was really good. I mean, I said it after the movie. I feel like every time like he had a moment of satisfaction, he was just like, "Ah," like he's jizzing in his pants, like "Ah," every time he fucking has a moment that he wants.
He can't
Am
go
I
an episode
wrong?
without saying jizz.
I'm gonna say Joe. Am I wrong? Did he
Am I
not look
wrong?
like he's just sitting there like fucking climaxing every time that he like?
Yeah, he
It's
definitely had
not
that
wrong
creepy
'cause
vibe.
clearly
It's just-
somebody who is as isolated as he is and what he's
Right.
been doing would be
Oh, he's
satisfied
euphoric to
by
him.
Right.
the yeah.
and
So,
just like the way that he spoke. But anyway, I want to see more villains like that. I want to see ones that are grounded in reality.
Did you pick three?
Eggman.
I kind of can't pick three because the three that I would pick would be Joker, more Penguin, and I can't really think of the Victor Freeze. I guess
Take a shot every time we say grounded in reality this episode.
Yeah. Well,
Grounded in
but that's what I like about it. I don't
Okay.
want this fantastical. Like, if it gets a little bit more, that's cool. Like, because I feel like when it comes to magic or whatever,
Even Mr.
superpowers-
Freeze, like nobody has a freeze ray. It's
yeah.
it's
Which
not
I mean,
even-
hey, that would be a big ask of me because it's fucking Batman. It's a
Well, with
superhero
Batman, it was-
movie.
yeah.
There's gonna be some shit like that. So
Technology.
I just like that they didn't like take too many liberties with that. I appreciate that. I want to see them continue doing that. I want to see him become the Bruce that you're talking about. I want to see
Yeah.
him like realize like, okay, this is like who I am, and lean into it a little bit. And
And he has to be that way to kind of get certain things from certain people too.
right, exactly. And I mean, he already
Assertive.
is. And some
Yeah.
obviously people react to him, whatever way. But
It's all a bit technical. Didn't you get the memo? Everybody's looking for that moment.
Yeah.
The Bruce ascends and takes control back of his company, and I think it seems like we want to see that payoff in the upcoming one.
And you know what I also want to see, one last thing, is I want to see more Batman and like hoodies and like when he was walking around just like with the hoodie and then like the
Half
face
bat.
paint, like he really was like, come on, is Batman in reality, unless you're really skulking in the shadows and flying around, like you're pretty hard to miss if you're in a giant bat suit. You know what I mean?
with the cape
Batmobile?
flowing in the
With the cape flowing. So I want to see more, like, because in reality you would be kind of trying to blend in with the crowd. So when he came in and like he had the hoodie on and then like the cargo pants, but then he like goes into the room and he rips it all off and now he's Batman again. I want to see more shit. like that.
I'm Batman.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
And I like that they called him Vengeance too. They were like, "Hey, Vengeance." That was kind of cool. It was just a little
A
different.
little
you know?
snarky, but also true.
Hey,
He
vengeance.
calls
Yeah.
himself Vengeance. So
Actually, that's a Marvel
Vengeance.
character. That's Ghost Rider's band. Vengeance.
but you
And-
Ben.
If it's top three villains, the Joker's top villain, I think across all.
Gonna be on everybody's
Yeah,
list.
it's how do you leave them off? I don't know. Ones that I anticipate seeing might be different than the ones I want, but I almost feel like there might be a Poison Ivy or a female lead villain in the next one. If I don't know if Catwoman's gonna, if they're gonna have Zoe Kravitz return and all that. but,
Please.
yeah, I hope so because obviously she's a big pull to it.
It's interesting if they mention Bloodhaven too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? What's that?
So that's the city that when Dick Grayson leaves and becomes Nightwing,
Mm-hmm.
that's the city he protects.
Mhm.
Nailed part of my wish list then. Okay, cool.
To finish it off.
So yeah, I mean, I I'd say Joker, Riddler, Victor Freeze. Those are like the top 3 Batman villains I could think of.
You want the Riddler again?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought we were just naming top 3, but 3 we anticipate or we'd want to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what's another good one? It's hard because we're talking about this whole grounded thing and which ones would you expect and how would they approach it? But
Killer Croc. Paul Giamatti as the Killer Croc.
please.
It doesn't all need to be
Yeah,
villains
shit.
too. I mean, what about
Absolutely.
allies? Like it would be cool if we saw
Or,
Robin.
or Red Hood. But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to
Azrael.
get
Azrael.
there. Yeah.
I was thinking Azrael. I was like,
Who the fuck's Azrael?
Azrael takes over the mantle of Batman when Batman's back gets broken by Bane.
Mm.
Then he goes bad.
We
And
didn't
then
even mention
Bruce has to
Bane
fucking kill
at all.
him.
Yeah.
It's a-
Interesting.
The world might be a little overkill on Bane at this point, but
Bane
Bane's
would be
actually
sick.
Bane's
Good
actually
Bane.
as intelligent, if not more so, than Batman. So
I thought the
he's a hell of a
Riddler-
detective as well.
He had a better Bane voice. Riddler in this movie had a better Bane voice than Bane in the movie, in my
That's fair.
opinion.
Fair.
You're feeling charged.
Yeah, I hate that. I'm sorry, Tom. I would love to see them. I don't know how you do it now because of how young this guy is, but maybe I guess by a 3rd movie, quote unquote, a real good portrayal of Dick Grayson and Robin, like
Right.
cool, because that shows such another part of Batman because he's such a dick to him, right?
Do you think they
Batman,
alluded
Bruce
to that?
Wayne is so
I think there's going to be more to come with that kid.
Yeah, they alluded
right.
to
They,
that.
they did
strong,
kind
I
of show
think.
him a lot. That's
Yeah.
true. They didn't really say who.
I mean, the kid was a sympathetic figure towards like how Batman felt when that happened to him.
Yeah.
So he was kind of looking at the kid's eyes through a lens of reminiscing what happened to him on that gloomy night. But yeah, we've had a Dick Grayson origin story in Batman Forever, where he was in a circus act and
Yep.
I wonder if
Two-Face.
it would be him or if it would be
Nipple
somebody
suit.
like Jason Todd.
That's what I would like to see. I would like to
Jason
see
Todd.
a different take on Robin. I would like to see possibly Jason Todd. But if you don't start with Dick Grayson, you won't get Nightwing.
exactly.
So it's almost like you have to go to the first Robin. So
And also keep it focused on Batman, because they're not. I don't think Matt Reeves is interested in spawning a universe,
Yeah.
as much as DC, I'm sure, and Warner Brothers is.
I don't know. They're like that Penguin show's coming out. They're starting to
I was
like,
surprised to
break
hear
apart. Like you don't
That's
know.
on
Colin
HBO
Farrell,
as well,
yeah,
right?
you don't know.
He was one funny story I saw. He was on, he's doing late night this week, so he was explaining that when he was on set, people that he knew directly.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
Colin Farrell was on set. People that he knew directly would look at him and then go to like the director and go, "Who's this guy on the set?" And then
That's
they'd
great.
say who it is, and then they would go look at Farrell, and they'd have to like look into his eyes. They were like, "Is he doing that?" He was that.
They
like,
did such
it
a
was
good
good.
job.
It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Very good.
It was
that was
incredible.
excellent.
Excellent.
Completely different person.
I don't know how they do that prosthetic because that
They
that
had to
looked
put like a
unreal.
whole face on him. Like they
And it's tough because if you base the villains off that portrayal of Penguin, Fantastical is out the fucking window basically because there's nothing that makes him represent a penguin in
He's
any
a
way, shape, or
sleazebag,
form.
really, more than
Yeah,
anything.
he's just a
Yeah.
mob.
But he may be.
sleaze.
He's gonna probably rise in power now that Falcone's gone, right?
Oh,
Oswald,
absolutely.
Oswald
That's-
Cobblepot is his name. Penguin is his like
Alias.
alias, his
Exactly.
nickname.
And I just mean the
Right.
the flippers.
Right,
and
right,
the-
right, right,
the-
right.
They're not going to go that way. So
Right,
if you
right,
talk
right.
about a freeze or you talk about a poison ivy or whatever, Clayface.
I think
Clayface is a
Poison
good
Ivy
one.
fits-
That's
Clayface,
hard.
yeah, that is
I think
cool.
Poison Ivy, you're on the money. I think she fits really well in a grounded.
yeah, if they did
reality
like a global
based-
warming kind of thing
Yeah, yeah,
with her,
yeah.
I
We
could
talked-
definitely see
We
that.
definitely
Yep.
talked about that. Yeah, that seems to be good.
The kid also. I was just looking this up. The kid is the mayor. Is
The mayor's
Kid.
son.
son
Yeah.
of Don Mitchell Jr. is the mayor's name, but they didn't give the kid a name, so it could be anything.
Gotcha.
It could be
Well, Jason Todd could be like his first name
Could
and his
be-
middle name.
yeah,
Jason Todd Mitchell.
His mother's
Exactly.
maiden name because
Right.
the mayor's corrupt.
Correct.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
You can't have that
Correct.
name anymore.
Yeah, I think there's something to that.
Sick. It's a bright
Zach,
future.
you want to finish us off with the 3 villains and what we expect?
I think I took pretty much what I was going to say. I think Poison Ivy is the number 1 for the next movie, especially after the flooding and the catastrophe to Gotham of
environmental crises.
exactly a perfect setup for Poison Ivy. I feel like the world has got to fight back, and maybe some lunatic in this South Gotham is like, oh, we're better without all this shit on the streets. The water being here is great. it could set up something like that. I want to see Red Hood. I love Red Hood. I love that whole story. I think someone who has something bitter, someone who was bitter against Batman for whatever reason. I don't know the story. I'm not a big Batman fanatic, but I played Arkham City and all that. The whole Arkham series, and Red Hood was such a cool character, and I think that'd be good.
I was thinking about I wonder if we'll ever get origins of where he learned this. You know what I mean? Like, where did he learn any of this?
Yeah.
Kind of how to be Batman
Yeah.
thing.
I don't want that. We
not
already
that I
seen
want to
that.
see it. I don't want to see. I'm just curious.
Like a
if they're gonna-
flashback,
It seems like they
maybe?
were
Is it a
alluding
Ra's
to
al
that.
Ghul? Is it?
I
Is it
think
one
Alfred
of these...
helped teach him. He said, I can teach you how to defend yourself
Right.
or whatever. I wasn't able to
fight,
save
yeah.
your father.
Gotcha.
It'd be interesting
feel
if
like
a Ra's al
Alfred
Ghul
was-
comes along later and makes him the sharpened blade that he becomes.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So I would also like to see Slade Wilson. I'd like to see a good Slade Wilson, not the Arrow Slade Wilson. Maybe Joe Manganiello Slade Wilson. I don't know. I like Joe Manganiello. Sue me. But a cool Slade Wilson would make sense because now that you've got the power struggle in Gotham and someone, the fight for the top, and Batman is the only thing opposing them at the end of the day, it would make sense for them to hire a mercenary to take out this guy who's equally as badass. So,
Yeah.
If anything, it would be interesting if
Court
he's
of Owls?
more qualified than Batman.
yeah, no,
Court
when
of
they
Owls.
first.
Court of Owls
That's
is
what
another
I've
one I
heard
was going
a
to say.
lot.
Court of Owls would be
Owls.
phenomenal because they are
That
That's
can
never been
definitely
portrayed. in a
that
movie
that
yet,
would
right?
be a Batman horror movie. I think
they can
Court of
definitely
Owls.